Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. I thought it was about time that I got round to recording a video, so please bear with me. I'm still new at this when I'm not live. I find it a lot easier when I'm live and I know people are watching. Anyway, I made this card yesterday. It was very frustrating, but I really liked the results in the end. This was my second take of making it, and it's got a couple of marks on it, but I had photographed it yesterday, so without the marks. So I will share photos in a post on the blog later after I've posted the video as well. So I've used Big and Bold Snow and the matching dies. Now, if you go on the website, you'll see that the Big Bold Snow stamps are available on back order. They will be coming the week beginning the 25th of September. But the Big Bold Snow dies are currently in stock. So this is how the dies come. They do come joined together, and you can just use some snips to take them apart. Now, I've only used the word dies and I haven't used the stamps that match. So if you were just to cut both the shadow and the word, this is what they would come out and look like, and you can join them together as such. And then you can use the word stamp as well, which fits inside, so you can get 3 layers, which is really good fun. But I wanted to think outside the box a little bit and create more of a window to see the stamping behind. So I am going to quickly demonstrate what I did to achieve this thin outline of the words. It was quite a faffy and experimental process, so I hope I can explain it well enough with you. So I'm going to just show you what I did and go through the card step by step. So I'll just move that to one side. So I have my 2 layers of card. If you know me, I always work on flat card and then mount it if I am then going to send my card to someone. So this one measures 9.5 by 13.5 centimeters, and my base card's always 10.5 by 14 centimeters. So I only need this little bit for the time being. And I always use this Stick It removable adhesive to adhere my card to my working surface. Now, yesterday I did my colours in turquoises. Today I am going to go for some pinks, just to be a little bit different. So I'm using Concord and 9th inks in Dragon Fruit, Honeysuckle and Pink Lemonade. Hopefully all my inks are well inked and stamped nicely for this video. So I'm using the Dragon Fruit first for this larger snowflake in the Big and Bold stamp set. And I'm just gonna stamp it randomly across my card. One didn't come out perfect, but I don't know if you noticed the shimmer I had on my card that I showed you, the turquoise one. I added some Gansey Tambi watercolour splats. I used one of the lighter gold shades. So I did the large snowflake, and then I'm just going to go in. You get 2 small tiny snowflakes, one a little bit larger than the other. I'm going to do the largest of the smaller 2 in Honeysuckle, and again just go in randomly stamping them to fill the area. I was a little bit more slow yesterday stamping, and as I say, it was my second attempt to get the card how I wanted it, mainly because when it came to adhering the really delicate outline, as you'll see, it is quite delicate, and it was just coming up with the right adhesive really for it, and I'll get to that in a second. So I did all this stamping first, just to fill my background. We do have stunning snowflakes as well, which would pair beautifully with the big bold snowflakes. So if you wanted more designs, you could easily add in those snowflakes as well. And maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler, but there is a new snowflake stamp set coming out shortly, so keep your eyes peeled for that if you are a fan of snowflakes like I am. So once I'd done all my stamping, I then used this Gansey Tambi Starry colours. Absolutely love these watercolours, especially for adding the splatters, and I used this one here, which is light gold. Well used, it's covered up. Now when it comes to adding the splats, I use this box, and I just place my card inside, and then this might not work so great on video, but we will see. I just get my water brush. I'm going to go for a slightly darker shade today, just so hopefully it'll show up a little bit easier in the video maybe. You want to make sure that your watercolour is quite loose, and then you're just gonna flick the splats on as much or as little as you like. I just think it adds a little bit of festive flair to the card without being too overpowering. So I'm just going to leave it in the box for the time being while it dries, and I'm going to do my next step. So that for this next step, you need to die cut the shadow, which I have done here in the black. You are then going to use the more detailed word of snow to cut out inside this shadow. But before you die cut, what you want to do, which I would have, I should have stuck some of this. So this is Stick It paper. It's double-sided, it's thin. I got it from Seven Hills Crafts, and it's really good stuff when it comes to adhering detailed die cuts. Now, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to die cut the word snow again from black card, and I'm going to stick it onto the back and show the actual process like I used before. Actually, I haven't got any black to hand. I'll just see if I have any quickly. As you can see, I haven't been as well prepared as I should have been. Some black card, and you're just going to peel off one side of this double-sided paper and stick it to your piece of card. And then you're going to die cut. You want to make sure that your die cut covers the area. So I have my Big Shot, my well-used Big Shot, trusty friend, and you're just going to place it and die cut it. So I'm die cutting the shadow here. Now, as I've got some sticky, I'm just going to go back through again just to make sure it's fully cut. Take it out. I won't put this too far away because I will need it again shortly. So here is the word, and as you can see, it's got the sticky on the back. Now, as I was saying before, I was unprepared. What you're going to do is you're going to use the word part of the die, which cuts out like this, and you're going to place it over the top. Now, it doesn't leave you with a lot of border, as you can see on the card. The line is really thin. It's probably just a couple of millimeters thick. So the easiest way I found to do it, to line it up, was doing it this way. Now I'm just using a bit of removable tape just to hold my die and card in place, and I'm just sort of eyeballing it here just so it looks even around the word, and I'm just going to use my tape just to tape it in place, both ends. So the first time I tried this, I didn't put this stick it adhesive on the back, and I tried using just glue to glue it in place, but because it's so thin when it's die cut, it just lost its shape really easily and just didn't look great at all. So this is when I thought about the stick it tape. So I'm just going to die cut it, and again I'm going to run it through twice just to make sure that it is fully cut. I might even go back again, as it doesn't do it any harm to go through more than once. And then you're going to take the die cut out and just be careful because it does move a little bit off the out of the die. So that's all I need for that. Now the Ganzi Tambi should be fairly dry. It doesn't take too long to dry when you've only just done splats. So there it is. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in the video, but the darker gold against the pink looks beautiful. So now I'm just going to gently peel off this tape. This is probably one of the hardest bits, especially on the back here, because it will have stuck to the detail die a little bit, but it will come off when you peel the backing off ready to stick. So as I said before, it's quite a delicate die cut outline, and it loses its shape easily. So another little trick that I came to putting it in place on my card was to use the word. So I have a little tiny bit of adhesive on here, removable adhesive I should say. Now I seem to have lost my ruler in the chaos. So I'm just going to use this just to line up where I want my snow to sit on my card. Maybe down a little bit, just so it's straight. And then I can just eyeball it and make sure it's even. So this has just got removable adhesive on. Now, when you've gently peeled the outline off, you might be thinking, what a faff on for this, but it is a bit of a faff on, but I think the results are really pretty. And it keeps the card pretty clean and simple, which I like. Obviously, you wouldn't want to mass produce these for Christmas. You would be spending quite a fair few hours doing it. So as you can see, it's quite flimsy. And all I'm going to do is just lay round the word. Like it would be. And you're just going to gently peel the backing off. You might just want to snip bits off now and then while you work your way around. And you're just going to make sure it's butted up to the edges of the turquoise or whatever colour die cut you have. And I just thought it's a nice way of showing the word and a different sort of technique with your die. Getting the most out of your products, really. I'm always looking for new ways to expand the use of a product to get your money's worth. Breathe new life into products. I mean, Big and Bold Snow has been out for quite a few years now. But I personally think that the font is still quite modern enough that it hasn't gone out of date. And especially if you try some of these newer techniques that are out and about these days, I think it definitely breathes new life into products. So this is probably the longest bit, but it is taking me less time than it did yesterday to do this process. She says that and then she splits the die cut, but it shouldn't be too noticeable because joining it back up. That's me being too overzealous with my words just then. Heavy-handed. So I'm just joining it up. You can't really see the join. Now before I'm going to move that turquoise bit out from the edge, from the inside, I'm going to use the filler bits from the O in Snow and also this little bit of the W. And then you've got this with the adhesive on already. You could stick it straight onto a card, you could cut the shadow out in a different colour and stick it on. So this piece wouldn't go to waste. You've got something else for another card, which is great. So I'm just going to remove the backing. My ever handy pokey tool that gets used for everything. and you're just going to slot the insert inside there, press it in, and do the same for all the sections, like this. And last one is there. And you're just going to slot it into place, and then you can peel out the middle section, which was only temporarily adhered to the card, and it reveals the beautiful snow flakes in pink behind, and you can just press down just to make sure that it's fully adhered. Get rid of any little bits of fluff that might be on the edge of your die cut. You might know what I'm talking about if you do a lot of die cutting. So in the stamp set, it comes with the Dashing Through the Snow, which I've used there, the Let It Snow, and obviously you've got the other snow, which is slightly smaller as well. So for this card, I'm going to use the Let It, and I'm just going to stamp it in black as well. Onto my card, I'm going to use Versifying Clair, the Nocturne ink. It's one of my favourites that I use for all my stamping these days. Normally, it used to always be the Versifying Clair Oinks Black, but I tend to reach for this one now. I'm just going to eyeball it and stamp it up there. And then before I adhered my card to my base, as you can see here, if I hold it like this, hopefully I used the thin foam adhesive. I also added a few little snowflake sequins and other sweet sequins just to add a bit of detail. But that is the finished result, and my little technique of getting a little bit more out of your shadow dies, really, just to show this sort of like negative effect where you can see the stamping and pattern below. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give this technique a little go. We have a few dies in our Big and Bold series, Big and Bold Wish and Big and Bold Happy. So if you have any of those, I'd love to see you give this a try. Thanks for joining me. Bye.